What's up, everyone? This is Andrew Radio back with another episode of Mr. Radio's World. I am back, and I just wanted to update everyone. I survived the solar apocalypse. The eclipse, we are safe. It's okay. We didn't get swallowed up by a giant hole. Unfortunately, we weren't raptured. Some may have been raptured. I apologize. If then I'm left behind. You know what I mean? Oh no, sorry. Joking aside. There's a lot of prophets that have lost some credibility today, as it is Tuesday, and the Lord did not decide to take or pass judgment on His creation. That time's coming, so don't make it a joke that it won't happen. It could totally happen in our lifetime, but no man knows the time or the hour, right? So we have to remember that God is in control and His will be done, not our will, right? Not what we think, not what we feel, right? But it's His will be done. So, jumping into that first topic, the solar eclipse was crazy. You know what is actually really funny? I was on the computer, and I think I was watching a YouTube video and playing a game or something. And I came out about 3 or 4 o'clock to the living room, and I opened the blinds. I was like, okay, I'm ready for this eclipse. And my wife was like, already happened. And I was like, what? How come you didn't tell me? She's like, I didn't think about it. So I didn't even see that it went dark outside. I just really was oblivious. So if an event happens like this ever again, I know that there are chances that if I'm at home, I'm not going to see it because I'm going to be on YouTube watching some type of video, whether it's like a podcast or something, playing a video game. I'm going to be oblivious. So there's going to be emergency vehicles. There's going to be people crazy. And I am just going to be sitting here in my room. I probably won't even know for like a week later. You know what I mean? But it was really busy around town Sunday. We went downtown to grab a spot to eat in Hot Springs. And it was like packed. It felt like a major city. That's how packed it was. And I was not used to that because it's sort of not like that kind of in Hot Springs. It's about a 30,000 person population, but during summertime and different events like the horse races and things, it does perk up in population. But they were expecting about like 1.5 million people were going to be in Hot Springs. I don't know if that many people showed up. I think maybe it was just kind of overblown a little bit, but who knows? We all survived. People got to take the day off. There was a lot of businesses closed. I didn't realize the eclipse was a major holiday, which, like, it kind of confused me, right? Because we were going to Chick-fil-A, me and my wife, get a little breakfast, and it was closed. So, like, Chick-fil-A almost viewed this as a Sunday, okay? They closed their building because of the eclipse. There was vendors kind of all over in the morning kind of thing, selling T-shirts about the eclipse. It was a strange time. If the rapture does come and we know about it, I can see the merchandising that's going to be happening about the rapture. He's coming soon. He's come. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be funny. I mean, hopefully you get to make it on that rapture. Kidding aside. Yeah, so we're safe. The eclipse has happened in another like 10, 20 years, 15. I don't know. I haven't really done the math here. We'll probably have another one. I mean, good. Yeah, good fun eclipse. So let's move on. Couple topics here. I want to talk about technology, talk about redemption a little bit, and I'm going to try to do a mini sports update because not a lot's happened. But I've been watching a lot more mock drafts, so I'm thinking about all that different hype that's coming around about drafts and things of that nature. Okay, so my first topic is technology, and I've been really irritated by technology lately. Like, I know there's this AI push, and AI is going to be vastly different and kind of take over the market, and we're not going to really understand it kind of thing, and it's going to be better than us. We're going to have computers that outthink us, outdo all these things. They already do kind of thing. So that is intimidating, right? But what I've noticed is like my phone. I have an iPhone 13, right? This thing just sucks sometimes, right? Like it doesn't even use the phone function anymore. I don't think it's a phone. Like, can we even call it a phone anymore? Because the phone is like the worst part of this piece of technology. Like, I drop calls all the time. I can't even hear people when they're calling me. I'm getting to a point to where like maybe I'm becoming an old man, and that's fine. I'm irritated. They push a new phone every single year, and it's like they don't make any major updates to it. So it's like, why should I even consider buying it, right? And I have an iPhone 13, so I haven't bought one in a long time. Before that, I think I was like an iPhone 10 kind of thing for a while. So it's like, I am disillusioned with technology because I also think it's not working as functionally. Social media works, things of that nature work. But like the very core elements of why we had one of these in the first place, right? Is it calling people and talking to them? It doesn't even work hardly. You gotta like FaceTime audio call them. And it's like irritating because sometimes that doesn't even work. And you're like, I can't even hear you. So then I gotta FaceTime a person. And then I gotta see their face. I don't want to see their face. But like now I have to see their face. And now I have to look presentable at some point. I mean, I don't, right? Most of the time I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like the worst angles in the world, right? But I just been thinking about technology. Are they actively making it worse? Or are we just advancing as a society to where technology is getting so good that when we see something that is inferior, it irritates us, right? Kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know what the case would be, but I do know that I truly think technology is they're just not updating things as rapidly. Things have gotten easier and cheaper, so they're kind of taking shortcuts with technology, right? There's still some cutting edge stuff like AI, and you can do like crazy deep fakes with AI now. You can do it with voices now. So you can create full songs with AI, and you literally have like different types of people sing these different songs and stuff like that. So that's nuts, crazy technology. But it's like, are we sure we want that? Like, why are we worried about like deep faking videos so we can put someone in there? Maybe it's actually really interesting to think about, because you think about movies one day, we may not even have actors. Like I think it was Marlon Brando that like has like in his legacy of Will, he has someone that controls his like digital like footprint essentially. So it's like, are we gonna start seeing that where people aren't actually acting? They just have the face of an actor, right? Oh, sorry, there's something on my lip. Ugh. They just have the face of an actor that is attractive and appealing, and we're just gonna have them put them in these things where people behind the scenes, it's like Milli Vanilli but with movies, right? Where this person actually isn't acting; it's someone else that's just their face. But we have such good deep fake technology and AI stuff that it's going to be that. So that's kind of frightening if you think about. But I think it's almost like other technology is getting dumber because we're doing that. Like, I typed in Google while we were doing road trips. Google sucks. Like, I love Google Chrome because it's really helpful and type of things. But on my phone, it's like the worst thing. I search for restaurants or gas stations, and it's showing me them in where I live in Hot Springs. And I'm like, that's not what I want. I want where I'm at, right? And I have location enabled. So I'm doing all these things, but it's just a sucky thing. And most of like the algorithm that they give you, you never really find the information you need hardly anymore. And I think these guys have like implemented AI in their search thing, so they're trying to cater everything specifically towards you. And I guess that's cool, whatever, but like that's not what I want. I want to, like, when I search a topic, to have credible things that I want from that specific topic, right? I don't want to find something that I like because they're listening to me and I've said something that makes them want to gear me towards some type of sale. It's just irritating. And maybe I'm old man, maybe I'm too old here, but technology, and I will stand on this, is getting progressively worse. Yes, there's new frontiers that we're going down, but overall I think technology kind of sucks. That's my rant on technology. If you disagree, let me know. Because maybe maybe I'm just old man now. Maybe I'm the type of guy that's going to yell to get off your lawn as a kid. I don't even know if I have a lawn. Like, lawns are so much maintenance. You know what I mean? Like, give me that desert landscape, or give me just rocks. I'll just take rocks all over the place. But after that, we're going to go into like this next topic of redemption. Because I've been seeing a lot of things online. Some stuff about like women, some stuff about like how women have no redeeming qualities, because especially if they've slept with different individuals and things of that nature. Like, we as a society don't believe in any type of redemption. It's like, it's such a foreign concept that like, and I'm not saying that you should advocate for people making terrible life decisions. Like, you shouldn't advocate any people to have premarital sex. And the reason isn't just because like you're trying to be a downer or something. It's because like, if you want a long-lasting relationship, right, the more people you have sex with, the less likely that's going to occur. The less likely you're going to find a life partner, because statistically you just won't be satisfied in a relationship, right? And so it's like, I understand this, but then there's a story of this OnlyFans model that was doing OnlyFans, quit because she got saved, and she gave up $9 million things. It's an amazing testimony of Christ, right? But then you see all these online comments that like, she's still not good, she's still not trash, she's still like, let's be like Christ, right? If someone truly repents and is saying that they are now changing their lifestyle, that should be applauded. You may not be called to be her husband, right? But I believe God is faithful and just and merciful, that he will get her a husband, grant her a husband, or provide a way for a husband that isn't going to overlook those past things. Like, consider the Hosea. Hosea was literally a case where God told him to marry a prostitute. He married a prostitute. They were married. She left him, went out and still was being a prostitute, got pregnant. God called Hosea to take her back, right? And she did this several times, and it was a picture of how Israel was acting towards God, right? And I think if we really boil it down to like sinning and things of that nature, we act like Gomer a lot. We act like Hosea's wife. A lot of times we leave Christ and go do what we want to do, but yet he's always willing to take back to us. But we don't show that same repentance. We don't show that same mercy to other people. We show the mercy that we think that person deserves, but yet we don't use that same logic towards us, right? Like, I'm not perfect, but for me to act like someone can't be redeemed and change their life and don't deserve to have like a loving relationship, like, that's ludicrous, right? To even have this idea that you can't trust women, that's a ludicrous idea, and it's not godly, right? God created man and woman. Yes, I believe he created some type of hierarchy, right? But that hierarchy doesn't mean you are Lord over the situation, right? Of every single situation. It actually means that you should be more sacrificial. The idea of marriage, right, is the husband is Christ in the relationship, and the wife is the body of Christ, is the church, right? So if you really boil that down, Christ died for the church so that they could have relationship with him. He sacrificed himself, which is what he is calling a husband, a true child of God, follower of Christ's husband to do, is he's supposed to sacrifice himself. The church is supposed to be devoted to the husband, which is the wife is supposed to be devoted to the husband, yes. But that comes when both parties humble themselves, right, and follow the example that Christ has set us, right? That's why the closer you get to God in your relationship for both parties, the closer you become together, right? Because if you're going closer to Christ and you're changing yourself and you're shedding your desires, you are becoming a new creature every single day. That is the point of why we're supposed to die to our desires. That is why we're supposed to pick up our cross and carry it towards the mark, right? God is calling us to leave where we were and become more like him every single day. So this idea that people can't be redeemed or people can't have a fresh start, yes, there are consequences to actions. With everything you do, there's going to be a consequence. So if you live a very promiscuous life, there are going to be consequences from that actions. There may be diseases that you didn't want. There may be terrible experiences that you've experienced. There may be unwanted pregnancies, right? There may be you having a hard time finding your future husband. That may be a possibility, but the Lord is gracious and he's merciful. So there may be a challenge to this thing, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. It doesn't mean someone isn't worthy of it, right? If we're really boiling everything down, no one is worthy of any of the grace God gives us. So for us to pick and choose who's receiving grace is a ludicrous idea, and one we shouldn't promote or bring life to, right? We have all this red pill and this blue pill and this, no, try Christ's pill, right? It's completely different. We're called to be a odd type of people. I can't even say peculiar. Oh, there it is. We're called to be a different type of people. So when the world looks at us and we're so loving and we're so kind and we're so righteous and we're so merciful and we mirror the image of Christ, that it's life-changing to these individuals. That they can't help but be like, there's something different about that person, right? It's because that is what the call of a true Christian is to be like Christ, okay? All right, so these influencers that we have on social media, whether it's the Andrew Tates or it's all the Sneakos and the whoever else it is, the Logan Pauls, right? Yes, they have influence, right? And I'm not going to deny that they have influence. But I'm imploring those listening, if you are listening, those younger or whatever, follow the mark of Jesus. Because Jesus is going to call you to be completely different than these other people, right? Yes, it may be difficult. Yes, it may not be as popular. But it is going to be rewarding with the peace, the joy, the love, and the changing of yourself that will happen from this. And not only that, you get to be with Christ one day and be sitting at his feet in awe of who he is, right? What an amazing testimony. What an amazing thing. And now there's dead air right there. I should probably share some scriptures about redemption. So let me type in. Okay. So here's a verse from Ephesians. In him we have redemption, through his blood the forgiveness of sins in accordance with the riches of God's grace. Galatians 1:4, who gave himself for our sins to rescue us from the present evil age according to the will of God the Father. Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 3:13, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who is hung on a pole. So he could redeem us from the burden of the law because we couldn't fulfill it. So he fulfilled the perfect sacrifice, the unblemished sacrifice for the redemption of our sins. And then he conquered death, so we are not subject to death. Right? It is not the final thing. Death is not it for us. Now we can spend eternity with Christ. Praise God. I'm about to start shouting up in here. I'm about to start shouting. So let's take a breath, right? Before we say someone, before we trash someone for living life that we wouldn't live, right? Yes, and I'm not condoning sin. Sin is sin, right? But even with that sin, we should be willing to reach out and pick them up and bring them into the fold. Christ left the 99 sheep for the one, right? He wants people to come back to him. He has open arms. He doesn't want anyone to perish, but all to come to everlasting life, right? The Lord is good and he's merciful. And that same mercy he's granting you on a daily basis, he wants to give to others. Yes, we shouldn't condone sin. No, we should have total standards. We should walk in righteousness. We should be holy like Christ is holy. But we also should be merciful like Christ is merciful. We should be like the Good Samaritan, that being an enemy of the Jews still cared for that Jew that was hurt on the ground, put him in a room, clothed him, right? While his neighbors all walked around because they didn't want to deal with the situation. Be the difference, right? Be the Samaritan in this story. Be the Good Samaritan. All right. Thank you. That has been my redemption talk. Okay. And now we're going to move into sports. So I've been thinking about the draft, and I've been watching a lot of mock drafts, and it's probably going to be that the quarterbacks are at the top, right? We have Caleb Williams, we have Jaden Daniels. Sorry, McDaniels was our old coach. Excuse me. And then we probably will have Drake May is what people want the Patriots to do. Let me look at the draft order right here. Excuse me. All right. So we'll probably have Drake May, the top 3 quarterbacks. There's talks about the Cardinals trading out, right? Possibly to draft the Cardinals trading for Minnesota, because Minnesota has an extra first-round pick in this year's draft that they traded with the Texans to get a quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. But there's also talks about that number 3 pick also being available. So they could possibly jump in there kind of thing. It looks like Los Angeles Chargers will do wide receiver from this specific mock I'm looking at. New York Giants, there's also talk that they could have a QB and they want to draft a QB, so J.J. McCarthy could go there as well. Then we're having some O-lines for the Tennessee Titans. Atlanta Falcons, they could go offense here, like a receiver, but they also are projected to go defense as well. So it's kind of if and buts. So what I'm looking at too is 24/7 Sports mock. There's a bunch of different mocks. I'm just kind of using this one to kind of remember the team's order. Chicago Bears, this is their second pick, so they picked Caleb Williams already. There's thoughts that this could be a trade out further back in the draft to get more assets. And it also could be that they take another wide receiver. They also could take an O-line here, right? Because if you think about it, they have Keenan Allen that they traded for from the Chargers. So it could be that as well. Going back up to number 5, the Chargers, they're slated to take a wide receiver, but Jim Harbaugh could take a O-line. There's chatter about that as well. Who else? The New York Jets. I don't know what the New York Jets will do. I think they'll take an O-line or a receiver, something for Aaron Rodgers as he's coming back, and they want to protect him, right? Because they only have a year left in here. So then we have basically the Vikings pick. If the Arizona Cardinals don't trade out, right, they could have taken a defense or a receiver. The Denver Broncos are probably a QB. They want a QB, so there's possibility that they could take Michael Penix Jr., they could take J.J. McCarthy if he falls, Bo Nix if he's there. But there's also, so they could go defense as well. This mock is projecting them as going Terry and Arnold. That could be the possibility, but who knows? And now we get to the Raiders pick. This is where I'm going to stop because I could go on and on and on, but all I care about really is the Raiders, to be frank. Okay, so the Raiders, they're projected in this specific mock to get Michael Penix Jr. That could be the case. They also could draft an O-line or a defensive player. They could draft a cornerback or an O-line and try to pick up a QB in the later of the first round to move back in, or go for a second round pick in the lower tier quarterbacks. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't think we're going to be able to make a move up because there's a lot of projection of Jaden Daniels because there's a connection with him and Antonio Pierce. I just don't think we're going to be able to move up. I don't think the teams in the top 3 picks are going to move out. I think we're kind of going to have to go for that second tier quarterback, which they could be legit. Like, that's one thing we have to realize too, is like, yes, there are people with talents that you can see in different things, but like football is an ultimate team sport. People can grow, people can like change and show things that they didn't show before. So that is also a possibility that is coming out from the specific draft, right? We need to remember is like, we don't know how these talents in college are going to translate to the NFL. Some could translate better than others, and then some that we thought would translate really well may not, right? We have that historical example of a lot of quarterbacks that have been taken early that also don't pan out. But you kind of have to take the risk here because a quarterback can change the way your team functions, right? We look at Patrick Mahomes, who's in our division. It makes the Chiefs contenders and Super Bowl champions, right? They're defending Super Bowl champions. It all came because they had that quarterback that moved them to the next level, right? We have the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. I was going to say Las Vegas. They have a new coach, but they also have a quarterback in Justin Herbert. So the two people in the division that need a quarterback are the Broncos and the Raiders. The Raiders did bring Gardner Minshew in as a like stopgap, so just in case they don't get a quarterback they want, that they have him to roll the season out and roll the dice next year kind of thing. But here's hoping we make a giant splash move. We get up into the top 3. We get Jaden McDaniels, or we get a top tier quarterback here. But I just don't think that's going to be likely. Baseball has, I think, officially started. Not really keeping up with it. I'm a terrible fan when it comes to baseball. I don't know. Like, I just lost interest. Basketball is about to start the playoffs. I think the Warriors have locked up the 10th seat, so they will be in the play-in. I'm really excited to watch NBA playoffs. I haven't watched hardly any season. I've watched a couple games here and there. I've just been not focused on it. I was running a business and things of that nature, so it was harder to find time to watch all the games. And then I was living in New York, so I had to I did last year, but I didn't this year, buy the NBA ticket kind of thing, because I bought the NFL season ticket so I could watch every Raider game. So, but I'm excited for the playoffs to come around for that. I hope Steph and the Warriors can make one final run. It may have been that 4th championship was their final run, but the league has seemed to lighten the physical, like allowed more physicality to come back into the NBA, which is kind of doing great for Draymond, who is basically, people want him to get kicked out of the league because they think he's dirty. You know what? For me, like, I don't care. Like, I'm the type of guy that's, obviously I'm a Raiders fan. If like we're trying to win here, whatever. If we can get away with it, let's get away with it type thing. Like, yes, but no, that is kind of my sports update. I'm excited for the next cupping, the next cupping months, the next couple of months, because we're gonna start being more established into baseball. The draft is coming up this month in 2 weeks, I think, like that. So that's going to be exciting. I love off-season football. Like, the NFL is a full season, like, sport. And it's great, and I love it. But the NBA finals and playoffs is the word I was looking for, is going to be fun as well. I hope the Warriors can make it to the first round and pass that and make a run. But I don't know if they have a chance against, like, Denver, Boston, any of these other teams in the Western Conference, the Mavs. Who else is pretty? I think the Lakers are just not it. You know what I mean? They have LeBron and AD, but I just don't think I don't think they can make a run like people think they can. But that's my bias. My bias is showing. What else? Who else is in the? I think that's the Mavs. There's other teams. I think. Let me look. Let me look at the standings. Okay, so so we got the Timberwolves are killing it. Ant and Cat and Rudy Gobert, look, they're like killing it. I'm impressed. And they got the Nuggets, the Thunder. They built themselves a little squad with all of their arsenal of picks, kind of thing. The Clippers, finally Kawhi and Paul George are back. The Mavs, we got Luka and Kyrie doing their thing, and the Suns, which I'm not sure why the Suns. I mean, they're higher than the Warriors, so I guess that's something to be said. They got KD and Booker, and then we got the Pelicans that are doing their thing, man. I don't think they'll make that 7 seed or 8 seed. I think it'll be the Lakers and the Warriors in the 7th and 8th seeds. But you never know what could happen. I don't fear the Kings with the Warriors. I think the Warriors are kind of in their heads. But if the Warriors are playing the Lakers, that may be kind of a bad issue, which I don't think will happen because they just are bigger than the Warriors. The Pelicans, I'm actually really cool because we have what's his name? Zion from the Pelicans starting to come back. People were writing him off as a bust, so it's kind of encouraging to see them come back. But no, that's cool. So it looks like the Warriors have clinched that 10th seat. They have 2 games left, the Warriors and the Jazz, or the Trailblazers and the Jazz. So I think it'll be good. Anyways, this has been another time, another Mr. Radio's World, excuse me. Thank you for watching. If you've gotten to this point, please subscribe. Please tell your friends to subscribe. Like the video and leave a comment to tell me what you think or what I could be doing better, kind of thing. I want to have guests on eventually, so stay tuned. All right. Peace out. Bye.